Hi there, Kar Yong here, and in this video I'm going to share with you part of my trade journal to showcase to you exactly how we look at the currency market and all the way from analysis towards execution. Okay, and this little clip here, I would actually have different recordings throughout the week. That's how I keep track of my journal as well, right? Because a lot of traders actually do it via text or even screenshots. But what I do is I do it in a video recording format as well. And because we also run the daily live session together with our community, so naturally that become my trade journal as well. Okay, so today's video here is to really show you from the analysis process all the way to how we execute that trade. Okay, and this method here, probably you also saw the EWS method, or you heard of it before. Okay, because if you have been following me on Facebook or even on YouTube, you probably come across some of the videos that we talk about, as well as some of the ads. Perhaps you actually saw that as well. So this little clip here is also to show you the entire process, okay, how this method is being put in place and how we actually put that into a real life market and actually take trades off that. Okay, so without further ado, what I'm going to do here is to show you my screen, show you some of the previous recordings that we had, so that you have a much better understanding of how we approach the FX market. Alright, so very quick introduction into the EWS method first, so that you basically get a rough idea of what we do over here, right? So EWS is basically a combination of technical analysis plus seasonal analysis. And how we get started by filtering off and knowing what instrument to look out for is based on the seasonal effects, right? So if you take a look at this card here, we call it a seasonal card. Okay, the pair is on AUD USD, which is Australia dollar, and you can see from the date, right, slightly below, it's on the 18th of Sep to 3rd of October. The direction to be focusing on during this particular period is to look for sell, and the reliability over here is 90%. Okay, what this then means is that between 18th of September to 3rd of October, for the past 10 years, Australia dollar had a good 90% probability that it will fall. Okay, so going into this year, right, between 18th of Sep to 3rd of October, then naturally when we look at Australia dollar, we'll be focusing on the sell direction. Okay, and this is what seasonality can really help us by giving us a very clear sense of direction, as well as the window of period in which we want to focus on Aussie dollar. Okay, so with that, what we next need to do is to just look at the technical to kind of pinpoint exactly which price we're going to get in, where we're going to put our stops, and how we can also set our take profit, right? So this is the approach that we have. Okay, so you're gonna see some of the recordings, as I mentioned, that was done throughout the past 5 days, and get an idea of how we look at the technical portion as well, and how we execute the trade on Aussie dollar. My major pairs here today, we do have like Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, and dollar CAD that is in my portfolio watch list. Okay, so let's talk about Aussie dollar first, because over here I'm seeing a potential setup that we can take to the downside. Okay, not so much on the 4-hour time frame, but if I bring you to the 1-hour time frame, okay, what I'm seeing over here, it's a double top setup. Okay, and of course, if I start to put in a little bit of divergence, RSI, you can see the divergence is super clear here as well. Okay, so that's a good opportunity where we can take this trade to the downside. Okay, so if I were to just quickly reference this low for now. Okay, so on the 1 hour, it becomes quite clear, right? Mini double top on the H1, we can look for the breakout to the downside for a short-term trade. Now on a higher time frame, is this also showing sign that we can ride it to the downside? Okay, primarily we can look out for this move here. Okay, and of course, if that breaks, we can start to look for even downside. Okay, overall, we can still see this as a potential flag here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, something like that. So I'm actually taking this trade, right? Even though it's on a 1-hour time frame, it's not our usual setup. Okay, but again, in terms of like this setup on the 1 hour double top with a very clear divergence, with a very nice neckline over here as well. Okay, I'll be interested in this break at 7290. Okay, so we're getting very close. We add in a little bit of spread, right? So 7290 should be fine. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, then my stop will definitely be just above this high. As of now, it's around 7316, right? I'll add in a bit of spread, so that will put us around like 7320. Okay, so it's about a 30 pip stops. Very, very tight. Okay, but it's I would say it's an intraday setup over here, right? So Aussie dollar yesterday, we did look out for it. Okay, and I did share with you. I think Nicholas also posted in the group saying that Aussie dollar is interesting to keep an eye on. Okay, so yes, fully agree with that. Now, my plan on this is there's no need to be rushing in immediately. Okay, for me, I think the main, if I go down to a 1 hour time frame, okay, the main level, or I would say area that I would be very interested to keep an eye on is actually this high here on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, somewhere around 7315. Ideally, what I want to see is this continue to push higher. Okay, something like that, giving us a very, very corrective move to the upside. Okay, testing this high. And if that happens, then we'll have a very solid trade to the downside. Okay, seasonality on the Aussie dollar continues to be in the bearish side. Okay, so that's also an additional layer, right? In terms of seasonality, it's down. In terms of technical analysis, this pattern here is looking pretty much on the downside as well. Okay, so I'll give it probably another 1 or 2 days to see how it will probably react off this zone. If it's going to be very crawish, right, correction in nature, then yes, definitely looking to trade it to the downside from here. Now, there's some decent opportunity that I would like to touch on for today as well. Okay, first up over here is Aussie dollar. Okay, so if you take a look at Aussie dollar, we do get a very nice little push yesterday. Okay, and today over here, we might get the entry if I go down to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, and you start to see that you can even look at it from a 1 hour mini double top, and then you have this push, and then you have this flag here that's doing right now. Okay, seasonality on Aussie is also to the downside, right? So we have that in favor together with on the 1 hour scale, we have this impulse, and then we are doing a correction. Right, so naturally I'll be expecting more downside from here, and going back to the 4 hour time frame, where can we look at our potential target somewhere back towards 7105, which is the previous low here. Okay, so the downside opportunity is definitely there. In terms of risk reward, it's definitely worthwhile as well. Because if you look at the 1 hour scale, this is how I'm going to look to take it. Okay, a break of this bottom, a stop just above this, which is going to give us maybe somewhere around 30 pips. Okay, and that would be a good risk to reward ratio of at least like close to 1:4, right? Okay, so Aussie dollar is definitely a trade that I would consider. Okay, yes, it's a little bit aggressive because we're looking at like 1 hour time frame and the stop is like 30 pips, right? Very, very tight. But it's something that to me, I think it's worth the risk. Okay, but of course, each trader is different. Okay, you need to then also assess if this is something that is worthwhile for you. Yeah. Right, so with that, I hope you have a much better understanding about, this simple yet effective way of trading the market using the EWS method. Now, we do not need to obviously, spend the entire day monitoring the market, because based on the seasonal cards, we already know like when and what pair to be focusing on, which direction to be focusing on. And at the end of the day, all we really need is to just maybe spend about 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day to scan through the technical part of the charts, to see if there is any potential entry point that we can actually execute the trade. Okay, and over here, just want to also show you that you do not need to have like a huge account to get started, right? I do have multiple accounts over here, and just to show you, two of the accounts, one of course of a bigger lot size because the capital is slightly bigger. The other one is just trading based on just a mini lot, right? 0.1. But at the same time, it's not really just about the dollar and the profit that you're making, But today, if you're acquired with this skill set to be able to trade the market and see some decent result consistently, okay, and that's where you start to compound your effect, compound the result, and eventually you'll be able to reap the benefits from it. So again, I really hope this little video here give you a much better understanding of how we approach the market. Okay, to me, I would love to be having something more of a laid-back method where I don't spend too much of my time in the day to be sitting in front of the computer and trade the market, right? If say this method here is something that you feel would benefit you and align with perhaps something that you're looking out for to trade the market, then do feel free to check out the EWS method. Okay, you can head over to our website ewsmethod.com, or what I've done is I've also included the link below in this video. Okay, if you're interested, go check it out. We do have an offer for you as well in the website. Okay, so that's all from me. Hope you actually learned something from this as well. We'll see you very soon again.